um, as Guy shared with us those dates and the commonalities there, it goes all the way back to, I think, about 3 years ago. We were first approached about forming the Sister City effort. And the reason behind it, because of the unrest and the things happening throughout our country. Well, now we see more than ever how critical it was and how much foresight you had to reach out and say, look, we need to bring these communities together to show how people of different races, different cultures, different regions of the United States, different climates could come together and look forward to relationships, positive things, founding peace, and working together in this country and possibly be an example to others. So I think it's outstanding tonight that we're all here together. I want to thank everyone who had a part in this process, particularly to the Beckers. I don't know if Rick and Linda knew back 3 years ago that we had this original connection, but it was something about the first time that we met the people from South Berwick and welcomed them here. And Dr. Morris, if you're on, I want to say, or your representative, we reached out when they said they were coming, said, don't come on Monday, come on Sunday. Make sure you're here Sunday, because we wanted them to go to the Christmas concert to get the real feel of Tuskegee University and how it is and how it impacts our community. So I think we're in a powerful time in what is being done here in this Sister City effort. It's not an effort done just for publicity. It's not an effort done just because it's the thing to do. It's an effort in sincerity. And I think we have a group of sincere friends that we have developed because what we did was real. And what we felt came from back in 1881 and beyond to reach to this period now. So that's why I think that 3 years ago, when we first looked at coming together, something just pushed that and made it automatic. It was so easy to do because it was inspired by vibrations that we never even knew about that started back in the 1800s. So I'm excited tonight. All our citizens of Tuskegee, I thank you for what you do and your efforts and your participation in this, particularly to those in South Berwick in reaching out and whatever conditions and working with us and us pulling together. But I'm excited about what the opportunities we have going forward, because we can be the example. We have been the example. We will be the example. And we will share it in the spirit that should be done. No better weekend than February 12th, as we're now going to call Common Ground Day. No better effort than the Valentine's weekend. No better effort than a new day in our country where we have new leadership that we can celebrate and talk about bringing this country together and going in a forward direction. So welcome from Tuskegee, Alabama, home of Dr. Booker T. Washington, Tuskegee Airmen, and a whole lot more. We're very thankful to be part of this Sister City effort. Sister Norma, it's on you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Haygood. I appreciate those words, and it just reminds us that we have a legacy of this kind of visionary collaboration given to us by Dr. Washington and others. So thank you for that. At this time, we're going to ask for a response by Mr. David McDermott from South Berwick, Maine.
Gotta unmute myself. All right, there we go. I'm unmuted. Why do I have to follow the mayor in this? I could just say what he said and be done with it. No, seriously, when those of us in South Berwick who came up with this idea and started the movement toward common ground in the sister city, we reached out to Tuskegee. We really had no idea what to expect from the experience and how we would be received and what we would really gain from this. I think we were hoping that we'd be able to improve some communication, develop some understanding, and maybe even some learning. Well, it turned out to be so much more. As the mayor alluded to, we met, we got together. Some of us went down there, had an unbelievably good time. The school department, I think I laughed harder that day just going around in the bus with folks from Tuskegee and the school system. It was a great experience. And then some people from Tuskegee came up here. And, you know, we got to know each other and we developed a little bit of trust, I think. It starts that way. And we talked some more and developed a little more trust. And we had some dialogue, some discussions about racism in America and racism, for us personally and our experiences. And so we kept talking, and more trust developed. Actually, brothers and sisters. Everybody that I know, everyone that I know that's traveled to Tuskegee or been involved in Common Ground, they really traveled the same road to friendship and to hope. So 120 years ago, Booker T. Washington reached out to some wealthy white folks in New England, which is how the letter came to be here. One of the people had a connection to South Berwick. Perhaps he understood that solving racism in America, which is a white creation and a white problem, that could only be achieved through partnership. So later, reaching out from South Berwick to Tuskegee and working together. And I think our goal is going to be to challenge beliefs and fears that have existed for a long, long time and really move forward. It's really a grand experience. And thank you, Tuskegee, for being our partners in this. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much, David, for those words. And as you were speaking, the word serendipity just kept running through my mind, and realizing that this adventure that we're on is bigger than all of us, and that there are forces beyond our sight and sound that I think are helping us to orchestrate this journey. So thank you for that. At this time, you all are in for a treat, because Mr. Guy Trammell is going to bring us the occasion as only he can do. So our local resident historian, Mr. Guy Trammell, it is on you.
Okay, hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon, formed against us, yes, glory is destined. Every day women and men become legends, sins to go against us, sins against our skin become blessings. The moment is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is a juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One day when the glory comes, teachers keep on teaching, preachers keep on preaching, world keep on turning, because we keep on climbing till we reach the higher ground. And ladies and gentlemen, today we're celebrating a letter that was sent to us, and I say it was delivered by divine messengers, that of Rick and Linda Becker, down through the ages, okay, to arrive to us now, to come to our common ground relationship in such a time as this. And again, this day, as the mayor was saying, we have a common day. In 1814, the area of Salmon Falls became its own incorporated area called South Berwick, Maine. And in 1881, a few years later, Alabama Governor Rufus Cobb signed into law Bill 165, and that became, that opened up Tuskegee University as we know it today. This is again, common ground where everyone is coming together. Again, Booker T. Washington reached out to Boston, to Emily Tyson, and then who was also a friend of Sarah Orrin Jewett, famous author in South Berwick, Maine. And across those miles, something special happened, which had been taking place, and now it's been passed down to us. What they were working on back then, within all the turmoil, speaks to us today. You know, we think about South Berwick, Maine. When we visited there, we see that people love their families, love their friends there, they love South Berwick, Maine. And same thing here in Tuskegee. You know, we love our family, love our friends. We really love Tuskegee. But then when we reach out across the miles and literally, you know, form a relationship something special takes place. And I think that's what common ground actually is. Common ground is more than just something we're working on. It's actually us. You know, in South Berwick, y'all know when y'all have those breakfasts and have the waffles and pancakes, y'all put maple syrup on it. That's typical there. Here, we do our biscuits and hotcakes, and what we put is cane syrup on it, okay? But yet all of us can enjoy some blueberry pie. Our blueberry is a little bit larger, more domesticated. Yours in South Berwick, Maine are smaller and have more of a wild taste to them. But we all enjoy that together. And it's the fact that as we reach out and form these relationships, that becomes something special. And again, that's the common ground. And it shows that we are a united people, okay? Again, reaching out. Now, the thing is, now that this has come to us, and hear a little bit more about it as we go along, this, why is it coming now? Think about the fact that when it was written, that was right at the time of the Reconstruction, and that was not a pleasant period, okay? And the fact that even Booker T, he didn't select the easy way. You know, he came out of slavery in Virginia, and instead of going north into Canada where it was nice and easy, he wasn't going to be judged by the color of his skin. He went south into the belly of the beast. Okay. And not only that, then he picked a plantation. Okay, wouldn't he be running away from the plantation? Okay, but he took a plantation and allowed his vision to transform and to literally transform the world. So now I'm going to flip it around. What about each one of us? Let's look at ourselves. Okay, what is our part? What part are we going to play to be that common ground? What is that vision that's inside of you? What is that thing that you know your hands are set to do? What is it that has been deep down inside that idea that maybe some other people have tried to talk down or whatever, but it's in you. It's ready to come out. And I want you to just think about that, and I want you to help me. Now, I'm not asking, don't panic, Amy. I want everybody to say this, but don't take your mute off, okay? You're gonna have to just kind of lip sync it with me. I'm gonna say a part, and then I want everybody to say, I will be that common ground. I will be that common ground. I will be that common ground. I'm gonna say something, then you all come in, but don't take your mute off, please don't. Okay, I said, when freedom needs a ground to ring, I will be that common ground. When liberty needs a ground to sing, I will be that common ground. When justice needs a ground to flow, I will be that common ground. When love needs a ground to grow, I will be that common ground. Let us be the common ground, and let us be the change that the world needs today.
All I can say is, wow. Like, who knew Guy could rap and all that other stuff that he just did? Thank you, Guy. You brought it as only you can. Thank you so much. And at this time, we're going to have the background by Miss Linda Becker from South Berwick, Maine.
Good evening, everyone. We're the Beckers from South Berwick, Maine. I'm Rick, and this is my wife, Linda. She's a teacher, and speaking before groups has been a large part of her life. I'm an antique dealer, and it's not been a big part of my life. So without further ado, I'll let Linda share with you the backstory of this wonderful letter that we found.
Thank you, Rick.
Indeed, thank you, hon. I need to tell them quickly that we're on a camp table, and so we are having a hard time finding space for each of us. This will work. This is an exciting evening, and I really was enthralled by what you said, Guy. It meant a lot. Thank you. This is an exciting event, and a while back, during his routine collecting of artifacts for his antique shop, Rick was given a letter to look at by a friend in the business in New Hampshire that he thought he might be interested in. And indeed he was. It was a letter, which I think Guy just referenced, from our beloved Our beloved writer and friend in South Berwick who cataloged life here, Sarah Orne Jewett. She was writing to her friend, whose name is Emily Tyson. She's was a very wealthy philanthropist in Boston who gathered creative people around her, and one of them was Sarah Orne Jewett. And Sarah was asking Emily to purchase a property on the river in South Berwick, a beautiful property at one time, was in a sad state of disrepair. It had good bones, but it needed a lot of work. Well, she convinced her, and Emily bought the house. She moved in a while later that year with her daughter, Elise, and they were living there at the Hamilton House, which later, in its beautification, became owned by Historic New England, and is now considered a stunning example of a colonial country farm, I guess still, although it's not a farm anymore. What did they actually call it? They now call it a stunning late Georgian country house. How's that? A country house. Rick did buy that letter, by the way. He bought the letter that was written asking Emily to buy the house. But he did say when he bought it, if you have any further correspondence between these two women or correspondence with them from someone else, I'd be interested. Let me know. Well, as it turned out, there was further correspondence. There were more letters. And in those letters was one by none other than Julia Ward Howe. That might ring a bell with some of you. She actually wrote the beautiful song, The Battle Hymn of the Republic, which is a very stirring song. But in addition to that, in addition to being talented herself, she was a suffragette, and she was indeed much of an abolitionist during that period of time. In addition to Julia Ward Howe was, I'm going to forget his middle, James Russell Lowell, who was a poet, a well-respected poet, a bit of a philosopher, and he was also an abolitionist and crusader for women's rights. The third letter was the one of which we will speak tonight. And the third letter that he acquired was the letter from Booker T. Washington to Emily Tyson. We're still talking about Emily Tyson. And Dr. Booker T. Washington, I want to use his official title. Dr. Booker T. Washington was one of the founding, and often called the founding father and first, let's see, I want to say principal because I'm a teacher, but he was the first president of what is now Tuskegee University. Back in those days, it was called Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute. He had formed it, I think you mentioned this guy, in 1881. And he was looking wisely toward people who had the money and maybe the inclination to support his students. And he mentioned I don't want to steal the details of what is going to be read by the children, the students later, but we believe that that was indeed what happened. And when Rick found out that the letter was from our sister city, concerned our sister city that we had just recently become part of, he also bought that letter and the other letters. And it reminded him also of the voting project that we did, where we did interviews with 100 interviews in South Berwick and 100 interviews in Tuskegee, put them together with videography and made a beautiful book called Together We Vote, Two Communities, One Nation. And it was a lovely project and it brought us even closer together. Therefore, Rick jumped on that and he bought those letters and he brought them home. And we discussed what might happen to the letter particularly that was written by Booker T. Washington. And ultimately, Rick said, here's what I feel like. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to keep it. I think it should be donated to Tuskegee. It should be in its eternal resting place where it started. And I couldn't agree with him more. And that very evening, we started talking with each other, trying to decide how that might happen. We actually started. That was a year and a little bit more ago. Flash forward, and here we are on this beautiful evening. It's our fervent hope that the light, and I kept hearing the words that I used myself, the serendipity of the letter. We're all thinking along the same paths and even the language that we share. It's our fervent hope that the light that Dr. Washington started when he shined it on the new students then and the students who now are at Tuskegee University and those of the future, that his wisdom in purchasing that will shine on them and light their way 140 years ago until today and into the future. And the other thing that we wish for is that this wonderful common ground relationship that we've made a connection with between our cities continues to flourish into the future. Thanks.
Wow. Ah, I'm going to try to get through the rest of this without tearing up. But thank you all so much. I don't quite know what to say other than I am reading Beacon on the Hill right now. And I just read last night. Anyway, I'll just say that I know that the spirit of Booker T. Washington is alive and well. And thank you for being a part of his vision, his dream, his continual influence to bring good to us. So thank you. And now it is my distinct honor, because my district also encompasses Tuskegee. I'm a Tuskegee Institute grad, so I have to remind myself that we're now an illustrious university. But at this time, a part of my district is going to be, I'm going to have remarks and greetings brought to you by Mr. Philip Howard, who is the Vice President of Advancement at Tuskegee University. Mr. Howard, we welcome you.
Thank you very much, Alumna Jackson, and good evening, everyone. Again, I'm the Vice President for Development at Tuskegee, and on behalf of Dr. Charlotte Morris, our interim president, and Dr. Lily McNair, who is on leave, I want to thank you for inviting us here to this evening. Tuskegee is proud to be a stakeholder in the city of Tuskegee, and we're delighted to be a sister institution to all of our friends in South Berwick, Maine. I'm delighted to be a part of this event, and especially so because I think it speaks so profoundly to the good that people can accomplish when race and ethnicity are not how they seek to divide one another, but how they seek to come together. Many of you are aware of Tuskegee's history and unique kinship that the university has with South Berwick on this particular day, February 12th. Certainly is a special day for us in terms of what Mr. Lewis Adams, an enslaved person, former enslaved person, and George Campbell did to bring about the legislation in the Alabama legislature, a segregated legislature well, it wasn't segregated, it was all white, to bring about the funding for Tuskegee to come about what it is today. Booker T. Washington was an incredible fundraiser, that's without a doubt. He traveled the world being able to share his vision for what African Americans could do through hard work and determination and education. And he made that his mission in his life. His prolific fundraising obviously bears light on where we are today, this evening. It's against that backdrop that the appeal letter to Mrs. George Tyson has been rediscovered. It's a unique and cherished part of our shared history. And we thank you, Rick and Linda, for bringing this to us and sharing this great gift with Tuskegee University, the city of Tuskegee, and of course, our friends in South Berwick. There's a quote that I recently became acquainted with from Booker T that I think speaks to where we are this evening, what we're doing with Common Ground, the Sister City program that I want to share as I close. I believe that it is in large measure made an incredible successful, I believe is what made Booker T an incredibly successful ambassador. And here's his quote. He said, "I learned the lesson that great men cultivate love and that only little men cherish hatred." I believe that these remarks were in mind when he went and he wrote those words to Mrs. Tyson and when he thought about the people of South Berwick. And I believe that that same thought has a lot of resonance today as we think about healing our nation, healing our racial divide, and being able to spread love and not hate in a nation that sorely needs it today. So thank you for this touchstone to remind us of this kind of fellowship. Thank you all for inviting Tuskegee University to be part of this and our friends and neighbors in the city of Tuskegee particularly. But thank you for having us here. It's a special night for us. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Howard, for joining us. And at this time, we have a special treat. I'm going to introduce the readers of the letter, and they will come to you in their own way. We have from the family of Booker T. Washington, Mr. Marshall Cabanis III. We have from South Berwick's Marshwood Civil Rights Team, Ms. Eva Theron, And we have a descendant of Lewis Adams, Miss Sharia Adams. So the three of you, take it away.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Jackson. Thank you, Guy Trammell, and a special thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Becker for this wonderful gift. Marshall Cabinet's great-great-grandson of Booker T. Washington. From Booker T. Washington, Principal, Warren Logan, Treasurer, Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute, Incorporated, for the training of colored young men and women. Committee on Investment of Endowment Fund, Mr. W.M.H. Baldwin Jr., President, Long Island Railroad, 32 Nassau Street, New York City. Mr. J.G. Phelps Stokes, 47 Cedar Street, New York City. Tuskegee, Alabama, November 28, 1898. To Mrs. George Tyson, 317 Dartmouth Street, Boston, Massachusetts. Dear Madam, feeling that you would like to help forward the work which we are doing at Tuskegee for the elevation of our race in the South, I take the liberty of writing you and sending the enclosed circular, which will give definite information.
The amount of work which our students do each year toward their own support is surprising. Our students pay their own board, partly in cash and partly in labor. They are wholly unable to pay the cost of tuition, which is $50 a year for each one.
If you can help us toward the whole or even a small part of one student's tuition, it will greatly lighten our burden. Yours truly, Booker T. Washington. To the people of Tuskegee, love from your city, from your sister city, South Berwick, Maine.
Let's all just take a deep breath and just really, really reflect on the fact that we are all connected to one source. And that one source has a way of orchestrating things that we could never dream of doing. The fact that we have someone here from the lineage of Booker T. Washington and the lineage of the amazing Lewis Adams, whose vision continues to astound me. And then we have someone here from a place far, far away who was connected to us all those years ago by Booker T. Washington, reading a letter penned by his own hand. It's just, it's surreal to me, and it is profoundly, profoundly endearing and inspiring of hope. Thank you all so much for reading the letter. Thank you. At this time, we're going to have a celebration of the original letter of return from someone at the Tuskegee Institute National Historic Site.
Thank you for allowing us to join you. My name is Ranger Cheryl Buchanan, and I'm here in Booker T's office in the Oaks, the home of Booker T. Washington. It may have been this very room that he wrote that letter. The Oaks is part of Tuskegee Institute National Historic Site, which is one of 423 Park Service sites across the country. But it's the only one that is completely contained within it on an active college campus. It was established by an act of Congress in 1974, and it includes the Oaks as well as the George Washington Harbor Museum. And as park rangers here at Tuskegee Institute, it is our privilege to tell the stories of both of these men, as well as the history of the Institute. Booker T. Washington was the first principal and president of Tuskegee Institute at its establishment in 1881. He started with 30 students in a ramshackle building, and that started the path to success as well as international fame for Booker T himself. George Washington Carver was recruited in 1869 he was already a well-recognized scientist, so he brought further fame and prestige to the Institute. And he went about finding ways to help poor farmers rise out of poverty. Now, the original students at Tuskegee had their historic role too. They not only got a good education, but they actually built the original buildings on campus with bricks that they had made themselves. Booker T. Washington laid the ground for the groundwork for one of the first Black historical colleges. And that helped countless graduates to be able to open doors that were once closed and barred. Yes, the letter from Booker T. to Mrs. Tyson may have been written here, but we are grateful to the people of the South Berwick, Maine, and for the generosity of all of those who helped this letter find its way.
Thank you so much for that those remarks and for your presencing of Dr. Washington. At this time, we're going to have remarks from Pastor Katrina Love, who is the pastor of St. John AME Church. She's here on behalf of herself and the pastor of Historic Butler Chapel Church this evening. So Pastor Love, we welcome you.
Man, good evening, and thank you all so much for this wonderful historic opportunity. On behalf of Pastor James Taylor, who's not able to be with us tonight, I certainly take great delight to stand in his place and to speak on behalf or say remarks to each one of you. And we just want to thank God for the visionary leadership of Mr. Lewis Adams, who was an officer and a Sunday school superintendent of Butler Chapel AME Zion Church. And he indeed sent the letter to Hampton Institute and requested someone to come here, and they sent Booker T. Washington. And so we just thank each one of you for this historic moment. And I'm believing God that eventually we're going to redo everything that they did here in Tuskegee. We're going to rebuild this place, and you'll be coming back. And we thank God for this relationship, the sisterhood that he has brought between South Berwick and Tuskegee. And to the Beckers, thank you so much for this letter. And on behalf of this great historic city of Tuskegee, Alabama, we certainly appreciate all that God has done. Indeed, what do you say? Great men cultivate love. And so I am Katrina Love, and we thank God that we will keep the love flowing from Tuskegee, from our heart to your heart. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor Love, always bringing us words of encouragement. Thank you so much. And now, you know, we couldn't get together without just a little bit of music to continue to lift our spirits. I don't know if our spirits could be lifted any higher than my spirit already is, but we're going to ask Jerome Temple to bring us some music.
All right, thank you so much. All right, y'all. South Berwick, Tuskegee. God has been good to us. So y'all come on, put your hands together and do this with me. Say it with me. Oh, 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 Lord, sure been good to me. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Say it with me. Oh, 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 Lord, sure been good to me. Yeah, you've been better to me than I've been to myself. I don't know nobody. I don't know nobody else that's been so good. Been so good to me. Now I want y'all to just say it with me one time. Everybody, oh Lord. Oh, 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 oh Lord, sure been good to me. South Berwick, Tuskegee. Say it with me. Oh, 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 oh Lord, sure been myself. I don't know nobody. I don't know nobody else that's been so good. Been so good to me. South Berwick, Tuskegee, God has been good, and thank you for this opportunity.
Woo! Mr. Jerome Temple. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, God has been good to us. Wow. So as we come to a close this evening, I just want everybody to just really and truly, as you prepare for the rest of your evening and prepare for bedtime, just continue to reflect on how things have trickled down to us through the years. Think about the wonderful opportunity that the Creator is presenting us now. We look at things sometimes and we see things as half empty, but we're at a period of time right now, in my opinion, where we're being called to think about new ways of being together on this planet, recognizing that the old ways have not necessarily served us to the best of our, good. And so if Booker T. Washington could write a letter to someone in Boston, Massachusetts in the 1800s, and that letter could find its way back to Tuskegee in 2021, all things are possible. All things are possible. And so let's continue to grow this relationship between Tuskegee and South Berwick. And I'm going to make a special, just give me the as Dr. Harrington would say, a point of personal privilege to just say thank you to the descendant of Booker T. Washington, and the descendant of Lewis Adams. Thank you for being present in this time and in this place, and knowing that your heritage has become the heritage of so many. And we thank you. We thank you for being here. We thank you for continuing to carry that light forward that God placed in your ancestors, that are now our communal ancestors. We give thanks for your being here. I want to thank Guy Trammell. I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart. Guy is a true community treasure.
Yes, he is.
I don't think anybody everybody in Tuskegee knows him. Yeah. He does so many things on so many different platforms. He's running the food bank. He's just I don't even know what to say, but thank you, Guy. Thank you to Rick and Linda, because you didn't have to do it, but you did. You didn't have to do it, but you did. Thank you. And thank you to all of those who joined us this evening. As we prepare to close, I'm going to take—
Madam, Darrell, I'm going to ask for a point of personal privilege.
Go ahead, Dr. Harrington.
It would not be natural for me to let us all go. I want you to listen to something and see if you guys recognize it. All right. Can you hear it? Unmute.
It's Dr. Harrington. We know the Tuskegee song.
Is that a Calliope?
It's our alma mater for those of you. For those of you who are not Tuskegeans, and even not those of you who are not Tuskegee alumni, that is our alma mater. And we say to you, we love you. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you.
Great to end this thing. So You all go with God's blessings. Go with the spirit of hope in your hearts, knowing that we are on a path to building a sustainable and just and equitable world for those who will come after us. We're laying a foundation, just as Booker T and all the others did. So thank you for being here. Good night and be blessed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. We love you.
Bye.
We love you.
Thank you so much. Bye from South Berwick.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Stay warm.
Thank you.
Happy
Beautiful
Valentine's
program.
weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Good to see
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Glad to share a room here.
Norma, you did a beautiful job. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen.
Wonderful job.
Thank you, God. Norma, you know how to handle it, girl.
Good night, everybody. I'm out.
Oh,
Guy,
I don't leave till the end.
Guy, you outdid yourself tonight.
Oh, yes, you
pulled it
did.
off.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah, Guy.
You're
You were
something.
great.
That
You
was
were
great.
great, Guy. You were great.
That was really great.
There are words to the Tuskegee alma mater?
There are lyrics to it, yes.
And we will get them to you.
To the test, to lyrics to what?
To the Tuskegee song.
Oh yeah, I have the lyrics right here. And let me let you hear one verse. There are 3 verses.
Please.
Listen. Oh yes.
All the alumni knows them.
Hey, Judy.
Well, we had to learn. We had to learn all 3 of them. When let me see. Let me advance it now. How do I advance it?
That was just a little slow.
Ms. Arrington, are you playing that?
David, is that Nora next to you?
That is Nora.
Hi.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Let's see. I have it. It'll come up in a minute. I have it with the choir singing it also. The words are beautiful.
They are.
And when I was a student, you had to learn them.
Sure. I'll send you all the lyrics so you'll have them.
Yes, let's send them a copy up here.
Okay. Were the lyrics written by Paul Lawrence Dunbar?
Exactly.
Were the lyrics what?
Were they written by Paul Lawrence Dunbar?
Right. That's right.
Who wrote the lyrics? Was it Smith?
That's right.
Smith, I think. But whoever, I can't think of the name right now. But the author who wrote the lyrics, Booker T. Washington, sent the lyrics back to the author and said it was too, I guess we would say now, it was too urbanized. And he sent it back to them to change it so that it would be more adjusted to the rural of Alabama. Okay?
Yeah. Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Yeah. It was Dunbar.
Right after this is going to come the action. So I want him to hear just one verse.
Norma, have you done a lot of these? You're just a natural.
I have not. I have not, but I taught kindergarten for 25 years.
Ms. Norma. Norma, very inspiring.
Thank you.
Norma, help me understand the connection between teaching kindergarten and moderating.
Oh yeah.
Everything you ever needed to learn, you can learn it in kindergarten.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, hello, Bob.
Bob Shepherd, yeah.
Bob Shepherd.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Bobby.
Hi, Judy. Hi.
How you doing?
Okay, hear the lyrics. Hear the lyrics. When painfulness was the peace, and Lord, running upward, we would be for the glory and all the praise. Oh, yes, Washington made him add. And farming. And sweet as the Lord, which the Lord has near. Oh, mother, Tuskegee.
Now we can all now we can finish. Not finished until we do the Tuskegee song, right, Dr. Harrington?
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
And we'll get the words to him, the young man, and anyone else who would like.
Yeah, God will make sure you all have the lyrics.
Yeah, the lyrics. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was great. That was a great ending.
Y'all have a great weekend.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you, Norma.
Stay warm.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Hey, Noah.
Hi.
Hi, Karen.
Karen.
All right, see David, y'all be good. Stay warm.
That chocolate cake still.
Good to see you, Renee. Okay.
All right now.
I'm just telling you, as the host, I don't ever close up. You all just have to leave. I can't do it.
Right now.
Well, you may have to tonight.
No, we could just talk all night.
I like your background, Judith.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I wish I was actually at the beach.
That would be nice right about now.
Yes.
Well, Judith, you know we got beach up here.
It's too cold up there. It's the summertime. I'm ready to come back.
Yes,
Well, there's just a few of us here. Let me tell you all my guilty sins, which is that I'm not a technology person. And so this didn't make it to Facebook Live, but we can post it as soon as I download it in 5 minutes.
Awesome.
And my daughter caught it not recording, even though I thought I had recorded it. Thank you, Lane. Wave, daughter. Go ahead, wave. And so we got most of it on recording, and then I'll put it on Facebook Live. But you never asked me to be the technology person. I did my part.
Amy, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be sincere.
And my confession is that we recorded all of that.
So how you doing, Lane?
I'm good. I started a new job. Busy with that.
That's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you know what it means to miss New Orleans?
Oh, I know what it means. I do.
Your two good friends are there right now, right?
Yeah, my old housemates are back visiting and sent me a picture of them in front of our old house today.
Tell us about your new job briefly.
I'm working for an educational travel company called EF. And I'm working in a sector that's like all tours for girls and girl groups. And so I'll be working with the leaders of girl groups to help them plan and execute trips internationally.
Does that include me?
Well, we do have a program for adults, so that would include you.
What's it called? The one for old people?
It's called Go Ahead
yourself.
Tours.
Go Ahead Tours. Okay, good. That's the one I'm
Yeah.
going.